What's going on, everybody? Andrew Thompson here of the Andrew Thompson Interviews YouTube channel. Joining me on the channel today is a man that you have seen on this channel before. The last time we spoke was in March of 2020. We are going to dive into that just a little bit later. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the one and only, the big bad kaiju himself, a man who had a very successful 2020 professionally, in my opinion. This is O'Shea Edwards. O'Shea, how you doing today, boss?
Big A, was happening, man. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you taking the time to do this, man. But like I said at the top, you had a great 2020 professionally. I think I've been able to keep up with your stuff, of course, following you through social media and seeing your stuff on IWTV, seeing you in various places, man. GCW, of course. But like when you look at the overall scope of 2020 and before the pandemic, I think it's safe to say this to say that it didn't go as planned as you had planned originally, right?
No, man, it didn't go planned at all. But then again, like, who's 2020 did.
Right.
But actually, though, believe it or not, one of the best things that ever could have happened to me was the pandemic. And the only reason why I say that was the pandemic was going to happen, regardless.
Right.
It was going to happen. There's no way around this. This was going to happen. How we were to come out of it, however, was going to be the question. How are people going to redefine themselves? How are people going to better themselves without wrestling all the time? So now we're trying to see, now you start to find out like who has a deeper bag of tricks,
Right.
And it was one of those things where I tell people all the time, I was like, man, my bag of tricks goes a lot deeper than than some people want to assume. And people found out. With that being said, too, with that pandemic, it's always been quality over quantity. But now it was really going to become apparent of, okay, now everyone's not getting the 100 plus matches, 120 plus, 150 plus matches a year anymore. So now, with that being said, the quality of matches you have are going to be magnified. They're going to be under more scrutiny. And they're going to be criticized a lot more because there's not a lot of it.
Right.
And only those who actually have the staying power, the ability, and the wherewithal to take advantage of that are the ones who are going to thrive. And I felt good about the work that I put out in 2020, that coming into 2021, that people are like, oh man, this is going to be a breakout year for you. Mm-hmm. And I was like, breakout? Where you been? I've already broke out. Like at this point in time, if you think 2020 was a breakout, man, if you think 2020 was a breakout, man, you really weren't paying attention. Mm-hmm. So, but I mean, I am blessed for what I was able to do 2020, because I know a lot of my counterparts and a lot of people that are in this business didn't, and we've seen a lot of people kind of fall off and all that good stuff, and for various obvious reasons, which is fine, but for me, this is something that I wanted to do, and I'd be damned if I was going to let Corona take it from me.
Right. I feel like this year specifically, we've seen so many wrestlers kind of start treating themselves more like a business. I don't know if you like. I think that's fair to say. Like I've seen like so many wrestlers, like they get into streaming or YouTube or like just various outlets, like trying to figure out a way to. I really think this pandemic kind of hit not even just professional wrestling, but just the overall scope of the world as far as people working. Like it made you kind of think about like, what could I do if this wasn't available right now? Like what could I do? Like what could I take? Did you kind of see that just within the months, going through the end of 2020, that people started to kind of dip their hands into other things?
Once WrestleMania got rescheduled,
right,
I was like, okay, I guess I got to do something. Already treated wrestling like a business, but it wasn't enough. Because now it was the issue. It was the issue of basically, that type of money wasn't coming in anymore. So now I'm having to get more creative about getting myself out there, getting creative how to, make that money that I was hoping to get, for months and months on end. So it was, okay, cool. What is the one thing that I can do that really doesn't require me being outside? It doesn't really require me having to wear a mask. And it was promos. But the one thing that I'm good at a lot. I do a lot of. And
Mm.
some may not see like the time of day, but still I promos and not so much this giant reinvention of myself, but more of a giant evolution. And so throughout 2020, people started to see me evolve into something that was a little bit more than just a guy who threw people. It was a guy who threw people and they could eloquently tell you why
Mhm.
I was going to throw you and then tell you why I was going to do what I do next. And this is why I did it. So, and it started, it caught. And I was very thankful for that because that's, you take a shot on yourself when you start doing stuff like that because it could be the minute you put yourself out there, maybe this can crash and burn,
Right.
and then I'm out. So,
Mhm.
but it worked out, and so I can thank the pandemic for giving me the opportunity to kind of really start to change how I do things, how I film things, and I can be a little bit more creative and experiment a little bit more with like my editing and my producing and my script writing and my camera work and the
Mhm.
lighting itself and let's get out of just the studio and
Mhm.
record. Let's do something. Let's start making movie trailers is what
Right.
I called it. And somebody said, "Hey man, you trying to win an Academy Award over here?" And I kind of laughed. I was like, "Yeah, like I'm trying to win
Right.
an award,
Mm.
because that's if you treat this the way it's supposed to be, then people start to do that. People respect it and they do that for you. So I was really happy with the way stuff like that started to come out and the way it was received more
Right. And like it feels like a lot of people like they had that gap from March until maybe like 4 months later where there was just no shows, no nothing, and they couldn't wrestle. Like when you started to get back into shows and you started to see, things starting to pick back up just a little bit, like what differences did you see from that point until where we are right now as far as how promotions have been handling the pandemic, as far as taking care of the wrestlers, making sure safety precautions are in place, managing fans being in attendance? Like what have some of the biggest improvements that you've seen? And at the beginning, some of the the little shaky moments that were obviously there.
really, a lot of it was first and foremost was when shows started happening again. Was okay, guys. Like, have the wrestlers been taking care of themselves?
Mm.
We weren't doing shows for let's just say 5 6 months.
Right.
Physically, guys can do a lot within 5 to 6 months. Drop a lot of weight, add a lot of weight.
Mm.
This, that, and the other. So for me, it was ones like seeing, okay, who took this time off seriously? Who just didn't sit around and eat ice cream? Like, who actually put in work? You don't need a gym sometimes just to go on a 2 mile run. You don't need a gym for that. Just get out there and start running, do whatever. Like I don't play basketball, but I bought a basketball and I would do like this 3 mile walk/jog with a basketball,
Mm.
just dribbling down the street, some of the most uncoordinated dribbling you've ever seen in your life. I could not remember. I could not play basketball, but just keep my hand-eye coordination up.
Right.
Bam, 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 bam. As I would run, there'd be a park in the middle of it.
Mm.
I had a deck of cards. I do the Gotch Bible, 52 cards. I sit there and just okay. It's this. I do push-ups. This I do sit-ups. I do squats. I do this. I do that. And then I would finish up and I would come home.
Mm.
That when shows come around, the only thing I can control is myself. I'm in some of the best shape that I can be in without getting into a gym.
Mm.
But some of the promoters, some of the shows I've been to, guys would take this seriously. So it's like, hey man, you need to be masked up. We will be doing this you'll be socially distanced for 6 feet. A lot of people weren't bringing in crowds, so what they were doing was actually just staggering times. Where it's like, all right, O'Shea, hey, you have one match, but if you don't mind coming in at 2, your match is at 3. By the time
Okay.
you walked in, somebody was finishing up already, and it was almost like for production, it was an all-day event.
Mm.
Sorry for you boys, but for the most part, shows were really taking accountability for what they were doing. And you had some shows that weren't, and they people knew about it,
Yeah.
But at the same time, I always believe that falls down to the individual themselves. If I know such and such show isn't taking the necessary precautions to do what they're supposed to do, if I know that such and such show isn't taking care of the boys and the girls and everybody in between, for that matter, I'm not going to do it.
Mm.
You know, I got to come home. I have people who rely on me. So if I get sick and then I come and get them sick, have I really fulfilled my end of the bargain? But no, I haven't. So, but for the most part, at least some of the shows that I've been a part of, you know, guys have been really cognizant about what's going on and all that good stuff. And granted, you're not going to please everybody all the time. You know, it's never going to be 100%. You know, but with that being said, though, it was at least the shows I've been a part of, I make sure that it started with me, and you know, and it ended with me. And once I did that, I couldn't really, you know, I couldn't really be mad at that point. I do what's within my control.
Right. I feel like throughout the months, things have gotten progressively better. Like it's not, I wouldn't say it's 100%. And I don't think that's any like credit to any specific promotion or anybody else. I just feel like that's just the pandemic overall. That's just COVID-19.
Guys are doing the best that they can with what they have.
Right.
And it's one of those things, if you can't even, like, and if you can't, like, if you're going to do it half-assed, don't do it.
Right.
Just don't do it. and that's where some guys were actually, some promotions were doing, where they were like, hey man, look, things are spiking up again. I can't, you know, say that I can put on a safe show, so we're not going to run. Okay. Like I wasn't mad at it. That's a business move. I'm not going to be mad at a business move. You know, that's good. That's good business. Sometimes we have to take those L's, and even when you take an L, it's not always a bad thing. It's a bad thing at the impact, but overall, man, it's not an L. You did what was right. Sometimes that's greater than the L itself.
Right. Like one of my favorite things from you pre-pandemic was the kind of mini feud that you had with Trisha Dora over that beautiful Pan-African diaspora world title. I swear, Fight Club, they need to start making like replicas of those things, man, and start shipping those things out. But just you doing your fair share of intergender matches, do you feel like that term is kind of starting to fade away and then like moving? It's like that old guard is starting to move out. Do you feel like it still kind of had its critics?
Here's the thing: and go back to a point I said before. It'll never be 100%.
Right.
I had a conversation with one of my buddies earlier, and I was like, if you're looking for 100% ethics in your wrestling, you're never going to find it. Like, if you want 100% ethics in your wrestling, you do it. You're just not. You know, you're just not. That's not me trying to be a cynic. That's me being a realist.
Right.
Like, you're just not. And at least for me, I pick and choose my battles. You know, I may not win all the battles, but the battles I choose to fight, I'm going to win them. Like, I'm going to win them. So like the term intergender wrestling, while some people, I can understand how it bothers me, doesn't bother me. Because my thing is, what's the last word in that?
Wrestling.
That's all I care about.
Right.
Is it wrestling? Yes, cool. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm here to do. Who am I wrestling? You're going to wrestle her. You're going to wrestle them. You're going to wrestle him. Okay?
Right.
What's going on? We're going to put on the best show we got. You know, we're going to make sure everyone looks good. We're going to make sure that, you know, the fans and the promoter and the booker, they get their money's worth. You're paying me to do a job. And I haven't done a bad job in 6 years. I don't plan on starting now.
And man, like one of the matches that I think we got robbed of this pandemic took from us was O'Shea Edwards sharing the ring with Orange Cassidy, all Elite Wrestlers, Orange Cassidy. I think that was supposed to be for Maryland Championship Wrestling, right? As a tag match along those lines, man. And I was just curious how you were, because I know that was like maybe a week before, a week. No, it was a week after our interview.
Yes,
dude, that was like literally a week. That was supposed to happen a week after our interview. I was just curious, like, oh, you good? I was going to ask you, like, how were you planning to approach that match? Because you're very physical in the ring, you're very intense, and then having that clash of styles with Orange Cassidy, who's very comedic but can turn it up, but it starts to like starts off very slow. I was just curious how you were thinking about approaching that.
Honestly, man, I don't even know.
Right.
I don't even know. Something like that, man. You
go on the fly.
Yeah, you play. You got to play. Hey, man, I was going to deal with the cards I'm dealt here, man, and hope you got a good hand. I was excited about it because that was going to kick off one hell of a week. It was supposed to be me and PB Smooth the week before, Orange Cassidy week after that. Then it was gonna be straight to WrestleMania week, where I had guys like Chris Bay, and then I was supposed to be a part of the WrestleMania show, and literally within 36 hours,
everything gone.
everything gone. I took that hard at first. Like I took a day, and I was real pissy. I was really pissy.
Right.
Because I didn't know. I didn't know what happened next. Like, so what do we do now? And nobody really had an answer for what to do. And of course, no one had an answer. And I think because of the fact that no one had an answer is what made it like even more frustrating. You know, it wasn't for the matches itself. It was the whole fact that like now I can't wrestle. So what am I supposed to do?
Right.
I made this move at that point a year ago, and I cashed in all my chips to do this. And then it's one thing if I screw up, and I did it. Like, okay, I know I blame myself. Like I did X, Y, Z, and that's why I'm not wrestling anymore. But now it's been completely taken out of my hands, and now I can't wrestle because I just can't. So what happens now? And I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do. But you know, it was one of those. Like I said before, the best thing that could have happened to me was the pandemic. I got a chance to, even though I didn't get the Orange Cassidy match and I didn't get the Chris Bay match, which is fine. Like, I'm pretty sure down the road we'll figure something out. But, you know, getting that opportunity to, like I said, evolve a little bit more, get better shape, you know, really begin to upgrade how I present myself and how I, you know, approach different things, you know, start to like get my brain ticking, get my brain moving. And with that, you know, I felt as if like, okay, now I feel as if you put me in the ring with those guys, I'm more better prepared and equipped now in January 2021 than I was in March and April of 2020.
Yeah, like I feel like the collective weekend, I feel like that was a really, really solid weekend for you, man. You had some standout performances that weekend, and specifically talking about the For the Culture show. Like, I got a follow-up question that I do want to ask you, but like first, like just about that weekend, man. Like, what was it like just being in that environment specifically that show For the Culture? Like seeing so many times of Black performers in the same area. I enjoyed it. I know a whole bunch of other Black wrestling fans enjoyed it. Like, just tell me, like, what was the vibe like backstage, man? You know, being with your people, man, and just like everybody just kind of coming together for this wrestling, man. It really seemed special, and you could kind of it kind of came through like watching from home.
For the Culture was special. While people might have had their problems with other stuff that once again is outside of my control, I knew what it was and I knew what it could be, and I wanted to be a part of it. Now, yeah, I was like the third string. I was the third string. But I tell people all the time, hey, man, even Tom Brady was drafted in the 7th round.
There you go.
Was it 7th round? Tom Brady drafted in the 7th round? Yeah, Tom Brady, my day one, one of my day ones stuff. Like even Tom Brady was drafted in the 7th round. But when you talk about Tom Brady and his greatness, guess what the one thing you don't talk about? The fact that Tom Brady was drafted in the 7th round. You talk about the 6 Super Bowl rings that man had. You talk about the fact that he went to another team to bring him to the playoffs right now. You talk about the man, this guy's like MVPs out of whatever. It doesn't matter where you start. It all depends on where you finish. And for me, it was always one of those things of like, I may not be your first choice. I may not even be your last choice, but you will pick me.
Right.
You will pick me. But to be a part of that show, wanting to be a part of it was humbling. Even be asked was humbling. But then to get a chance to sit back and then watch it was amazing. Like I can't really do that justice to put it in the words. But to see AR Fox and Tuco Scorpio,
man.
I called my dad and I was like, "Hey, old man, two cold Scorpios wrestling right now in front of my eyes.
Uh,
My dad was like, yo, I remember watching him. Me and you watching TV. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, is he like, he's old? I'm like, yo, he's killing it right
still
now.
can go. He
He
ain't
get
lost
like,
it.
he's flipping everywhere. He's like, what? I'm like, Dad, you have no idea how this, like, it's all come like full circle to me.
Mm.
I was able to talk to him like after, like good stuff. I'm like, hey man, I'm like, look, I'm just a young dude, man, trying to shake his hand. You know what I'm saying? I
But
was
I
like,
say you gave him his flowers, man.
yeah, I
You gave
told
him
him, I
his
was like, hey,
flowers.
man,
Yeah.
me and my dad used to watch you wrestle. And I told
Mm.
him, I was like, I called my dad, and he was in awe that you were still doing it at such a high level. He looked at me and goes, hey, man, I appreciate that. I appreciate you. He goes, man, look, I just want to wrestle, go back to my room, smoke a little bit, chill. And I'm like, my man. but being a part of that
Oh,
show
goodness.
was great, man. It shed a light on something that, at least for everybody on that show, we already knew.
Mm.
We're stars, regardless if you know who we are or not. We are your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler, regardless if you even if you have a shirt of ours or not. We are just as good as everybody else, regardless of just because I'm not on TV. I don't need someone to tell me I'm elite to know that I'm elite.
Right.
I know who I am. I know my worth, and I'll be damned if I'm gonna let someone else take that from me.
Yeah, straight up, just like that, man, just like that. But like,
Just like that.
like you alluded to it a little bit earlier. Like you said that you were. I know that match with Calvin Tankman was initially supposed to be John Davis's, and he ended up getting hurt. Like, what was there a little bit of I think a proper term is a competitive chip on your shoulder to go in there and perform and like just let people know that even though, like you repeated it earlier, like you said, like even though I may have been your first choice, you are going to realize that at the end of the day, I was the and
I was the only choice.
Right.
I was
the
only choice.
there you go.
Yeah, I don't go somewhere and be happy to be there. I go somewhere showing that I should have been here the whole time. Like, I belong here. And so, yeah, when I ain't gonna lie, man, I was like, oh, okay, cool. I was happy.
Right.
I was happy with my brothers. Oh man, yeah. Right. I was like, man, I could have put on dope, man. That would have been dope. Then when, like I said, John got hurt, picked up Kevin Hobbs. Man, I'm happy. That's awesome. It's gonna be a dope match. Man, I can do that. But I'm happy for him. This isn't about me. And then once Hobbs got signed, I was like, who else y'all got back there? Who else y'all got back there? Right. And then the phone rang, and I'm like, and for me, I wasn't very being cocky or anything, but to me, I was like, I've been waiting for you. I've been waiting for you to realize that you needed me the entire time.
No,
and
real talk.
Even if you didn't, that's fine. That's no big deal. But you're going to realize, man, you sure got to shave from the beginning. And I don't look at it and go, yep, you sure should have. But the competitiveness will always be there regardless.
Yeah.
And this isn't me like bitching, moaning, or complaining about like me not getting picked or anything like that, even though some people say different. No. It's just I'm competitive by nature.
I'm the same way, man.
I have a chip on my shoulder by God's design. My chip is just big enough where I can take it off my shoulder, beat you over the head with it, and I put it back. I'll always be that guy. Somebody's like, oh man, you wrestle so angry. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm always angry. I'm always angry. I'm always pissed off. It's easier if I just remain pissed off. It's easier if I always assume that everyone's like, underestimating or underrating or whatever. I'm like, no, I perform better. I stay humble in the fact that, like, I don't consider myself the best because that's such a subjective term. That goalpost will move every single time. And what people consider the best for us, for one person, doesn't maybe apply to me. So like I said, that goalpost will always move no matter what I do. So I'm like, nah, man, I don't worry about being the best. I mean about where the best wrestler that I can be, because that's the only thing I have control over. And then really at that point in time, it's like, give me the opportunity to show it. I make other people look stupid. I don't make myself look dumb. Like, no, I don't do that. But that whole weekend, from top to bottom, like where one match turned into 4,
Mm.
Like, what? So, that weekend was designed though and I don't mean this negatively. That weekend was designed for guys like Tankman and Lee. It was and AJ. Like, it was designed for them, and it should be. Of course, those guys have been on just a tear that I can't touch. But it was going to be my solemn goal that all I need is one match, and I will be the dark horse of the weekend. And so once, like I said, once the Tankman match was announced, and then once the Jake something match was announced, and then once the Suge match was announced, and once the Effie's Big Gay Brunch was announced, I was like, this is all I needed. Just now it's up to me to deliver on what I already know. This is me now having to fulfill that promissory note that I signed with my whole ass, that I can perform and I can hang with anybody. And after that weekend, I felt I did exactly that.
Right. Kind of piggybacking off of the topic of for the culture. Like in 2020, man, I feel like from the summer to maybe like the fall, man, you just seen like this just big rise, man, of so many talented Black wrestlers, man, that were already out there, but like they just the spotlight just kind of focused in a little bit more. And I don't know why, I just kind of noticed that, like it just seemed like so many people that were already producing such good content, such good in-ring content, were kind of moved into the forefront. And I was kind of wondering, like, from you being like within that mix, like how did, like, do you kind of think, like, what, of course that time period was a very trying time for Black people, and I think the time period I'm talking about. I'm sure we get into that later, but like I'm just curious, man, because I talked to Fred Gayhigh about that too, that same period of time. Like, it just seemed like so many Black wrestlers like just came up all at the same time, man, and even though they were already out here doing this stuff for years, it just seemed like that time period specifically, everybody just like, and I was just wondering what you thought about that.
It was a trying time for obvious reasons.
Right.
For people like us and for people who look like us. It was a time for release for us in wrestling where I use wrestling as an outlet. All my like disappointments, all my frustrations, any negative emotion, even some of my positive emotions, I use wrestling as an outlet for that. And for the longest time, we were, well, I can't speak for, so I'll just refer to me.
Right.
I got tired of, I wouldn't call it being overlooked. I got tired of like not being a part of the conversation, and a lot of it I blamed on myself because I was allowing it to happen. Because I was the one who was like, I was the one who was, letting them, like, I guess, talk over me or all that good stuff. And I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that anymore.
Right.
You're going to hear me. And the way I said it before, I was like, you're going to see me, you're going to hear me, and then you're going to feel me. And I for me, it was like, okay, if we're going to do this, enough talking, let's go do it. Because everyone's talking now. But eventually the conversation changes. And it was, at that point, Tom, it was no longer good enough for me just to be a part of the conversation. I wanted to be the conversation. And that whole summer was going to be exactly that. Was, you know what? Nope. I'm going to be the conversation now. That when it comes to who is the insert whatever adjective you want to hear, I was going to be that person. I was going to be named, I was going to be one of the top 3 names that was coming out of people's mouths, not because of who I was or what I looked like, but because of what I do. And I was going to take that, like, that whole summer and prove it, because I was like, what else I got to do? It's either with this whole, like, I use the analogy of, with the whole pandemic happening, the race started over. The race stopped. It pulled everyone back to the starting line. And it was like, all right, guys, on my mark, I'm fired off and everyone's going to start running again.
Mm.
Well, within that time of where everyone's back at the starting line, I figured out like, oh, wait, I don't have to just walk or run. I can build myself a rocket ship.
Mm.
So when the gun goes off, I'm gone. Because if I don't,
Somebody else will, right?
somebody else will, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so when the summer happened, and then when the collective, you know, was announced, and now everyone's trying like, hey, brother, like whatever. Man, I was away a rocket ship, and guess what? A rocket ship doesn't have. A rocket ship doesn't have rearview mirrors. What am I looking back for? I look forward. I move forward. I move forward at a rapid clip. And going into 2021, it's the same thing. Like my rocket's still rising. My rockets continue to rise. It's the way I built it, to just keep rising and rising and rising and rising. And the minute you think I can't go any higher, no, man, I just have another rocket just built in, and I keep on going. And to see others take that same type of a mindset, you know, Darius Lockhart, Fred Yehi, AJ Gray, Lee Moriarty, you know, Suge D, just name a few. I'm going to miss names. People will be mad at me later. But to see those type of guys like do it on the indies and kill it, then to see the few of us actually get a chance to shine on TV,
right,
and do it. Lee Johnson, you know, Sean, I mean, you know, Leon Ruff for that matter.
Yeah,
You know,
Mm.
it's inspiring.
Yeah, I was about to say it's inspiring, man.
I love it when I see my kings and queens eat.
Mm.
You know, to see Aja Pereira like on Raw, like wrestling, like what? Like I was with you like 6 months ago. Like, look at you, you're killing it.
I was going to chime in on that, like just that because you mentioned Leon Ruff, and it was kind of cool to see it because like I remember at the start of the pandemic, he was kind of, you know, they had him doing the enhancement stuff, like he was on Raw and he was making the most out of his appearances, and then
North America,
like just like that, man.
He's in the history book. Yeah. He's in the history books. They can't take it from him.
Can't.
And I'm so happy for him. I'm happy for everybody, man. A high tide raises all ships. And anytime I get a chance to like collaborate with him, any chance I get to talk to him, there's so many times like, and me and Suge are rivals.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of stuff. Like we conversate a lot. It's not always us throwing fists. It's just we don't do it in front of a camera.
Mm-hmm.
But when I have an idea, he's one of the few people like, hey, I got an idea I need to talk to you about real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I trust him to say, hey, that sucks. Don't do that. All right, cool, I won't do it. And so like, you know, we use each other now as this level of checks and balances to make sure that our head's in the right place, to make sure that our to make sure that like, you know, we are in the right mindset of what we need to do, what we need to accomplish, and what we're trying to accomplish before we put out for the world. Because if I can get the thumbs up from my fellow kings and queens, then I know for the rest of the world we're gonna be all right.
Right.
We're gonna be okay.
And like that time period that we were alluding to earlier, of course, was that like few days after George Floyd's death. Like, how did you kind of like navigate that as far as like making sure your mental health was taken care of while all the while like still advocating for your people, advocating for our people, and like, you know, using your platform to speak out on the racial injustices that have been going on in this country, but just more highlighted. Like, how did you kind of, you know, fit that balance in it? Because I feel like it did really take a toll on a lot of us, and I feel like at the same time, like, and I can, you know, I can speak for a couple people as well, even myself. Like, you kind of become like numb to seeing it a little bit.
Yeah,
we've seen this before. This isn't the first go around seeing this on camera. Like, and I'm pretty sure it like when you think about that stuff, it kind of makes you think about like how many times did this happen pre-social media when we weren't able to see these things happening, and how these things may have been twisted or turned into another story. And you know what I'm saying? It just make you think about this. So I was just wondering, how did you kind of balance taking care of your mental health while still, you know, speaking out?
It was understanding that, hey man, it's okay to be angry. It's okay to be mad. It's so okay to be mad. Like, it's good. Like, be mad. You should be mad. I'd be more worried if you weren't. But you know, our people are strong, man. Our people are strong. because we have to be. I have come to the conclusion like this isn't like, believe it or not, like this ain't my America. Like I'm in someone else's house. I'm just navigating through it. Because just like wrestling, the goalpost for my neighbor ain't the goalpost for me. My goalpost is a little farther down the line. I'm not mad at it. I'm not bitter about it. I know what the game is. And it's not so much I accepted the game. It's just one of those where, you know what? If this is the game I have to play, I'm going to play by your rules. I'm going to not only succeed at this game, I'm going to beat you at the same game that where you set the rules to. Because how else does it work? You know? But a lot of people, I told them, hey man, it's okay to be mad. But what we do with that emotion is what gets written in time. What we say when we're feeling these emotions is what's remembered. You know, you can spend your whole life building bridges, build some of the beautiful bridges in the world. You say one off-color comment, no one cares that you built bridges anymore. They all remember that one thing you said off color. They said that one thing you said offhand, and that defines you now. We always have to be cognizant of what we say. We always have to be cognizant of what we do. Is it fair? No. But brother, this is life.
Yeah.
If you wait for life to be fair, hey man, you're gonna be waiting a very long time.
That's real.
But with that being said, though, how we operate within it is what's going to set us apart from everybody else. So for me, it was one of those things of, I understand, because I've had a lot of altercations with the police. Some of them good, some of them not that great. I used to work side by side with them. When part of my other job, I had to work side by side with them. So I understood where I may not agree with them, but I understood where some of them were coming from. Because at the end of the day, they just want to go home too. Just fair, of course. Everyone wants to go home. I get it. I was like, but for me, my biggest thing was someone you guys need to understand that I don't get to call out black. I'm 36. I've showed up to work being black every day. Sometimes I have to work overtime. Never called out sick. Never missed a day. You know, this is my everyday life where I have to choose between, do I want to go home or is my pride worth it? 9 times out of 10, my pride ain't worth it. I just want to go home. You know, I'll see you later in court, but I just want to go home. You know, and so, but I understood too that I have a platform as a wrestler and as an entertainer to really like frame that frustration, frame that anger. And to like, hey man, it's okay to be angry. It's okay to be mad. It's cool. But what are we going to do with it now? Are we just going to make some Hindi hashtag? Are we going to protest in the street for a couple of days? And that's going to be it? Because don't be wrong, that's I love it. I love that type of stuff. But okay, what happens? My big sword, what happens after? Now, what do we do now? What do we do now? And a lot of it boils down to we have to be the change we aspire to see. You cannot expect your oppressor to be changed. If you're winning a fight and you're kicking somebody's ass, would you just hey, he's going to stop fighting, maybe you'll start fighting him too? No, you're going to press the advantage. You're going to keep fighting because someone has to win, somebody has to lose. It doesn't work that way. Like, it just doesn't work that way. You cannot expect your oppressor to be the object of change. Change happens within. We have to start changing within ourselves just so we can start moving on. You know, a lot of people, you know, have issue with the police, and rightfully so. I was like, all right, so when are we going to be our own police? When do we police ourselves? That's got to happen. If not, you're going to have somebody else who doesn't belong in your neighborhood telling you what to do in your neighborhood. Nah, man, it doesn't work. It doesn't work that way, man. We have to start being the change that we want to see. How we do that, well, it kind of depends on where you are. How we do that kind of depends on what you want to do. Sometimes when I say stuff like that, people don't like it. But I'm like, tell me where I'm lying. Like, tell me where I'm lying. And then on top, way before that, like, have you tried it? Some people are like, well, nah, man, it just doesn't work. Okay. Well, then we can keep the cycle. We can keep doing this over and over and over again. We're going to have to, unfortunately, somebody else is going to get shot. Then we got to be in the streets doing it again. Like, somebody's going to have to hear us. And then we're going to have to start doing something about it within ourselves. Like, nah, man, this isn't cool. We don't do this here. And the minute we start to do that, man, I really feel as if like that's when it happens. That's when, you know, we really start to understand that, you know, it's like, nah, man, we don't like, see, there is a better way. There's a better way to do this. That stuff kind of got proven on Wednesday, but whatever.
Yeah. Like I was going, you go ahead.
No, it's like that kind of got proven on Wednesday.
Yeah. No, I was going to follow up on that and like, just go like right into that. Cause like, the thing was about them, just Trump supporters storming the Capitol, right? For me, like I felt like I wasn't upset at the fact that, like, I wasn't mad at the fact that they stormed the Capitol, right? Like that whatever they want to do, like that's, you know what I'm saying? That's on them. But like, I think the thing that upset it a lot, even myself, like a lot of Black people, was the fact that they got away with that. Like, they like. I can't even, like, it's been said countless times. I'm pretty sure you saw it all over your timeline. If those were Black or brown people, it probably
we wouldn't have made it across the lawn.
I'm telling you, it would have been a massacre. It would have been.
But the one thing that somebody said to me that really kind of went, oh shit, you're right. Was, see, the cops can't show restraint. And I kind of went,
that it's crazy, man. It really, like, just hearing, like,
I didn't have anything for it. I was right. Like, wow, they can show restraint,
right? And I'm pretty sure you saw some of the videos of them like opening up the gates and stuff like that, and like people like taking pictures with them, like at the the one of the craziest video I saw out of that whole situation was when it was I saw 4 white dudes. They went up and pressed up on 4 cops, right? I ain't see not one gun get pulled out. Like, they ain't even reach for it. And that like seeing stuff like that, it really just lets you know.
It's also though, it's one of those, now it's for the world
to see. Right. Exactly.
Now you can't just say, oh no, because one of the first words in my mouth is, man, I really wish they would have complied. If they just didn't break the law, oh man, like what's happening right now? It's somebody said the world's watching, and they were. And so there's going to be a lot of questions for people who make a lot more decisions than me and you, and make a lot more money than me. They're going to have to answer for. Because when this happens again, and I hate to be that guy.
Oh, it's going to happen again.
It's going to happen again.
Oh yeah.
The first words in anybody's mouth is like, you know, beginning of the year, we watched like tons of people storm a federal building,
commit federal crime,
and they fired one bullet. We're just trying not to get beat up in the street, and I get run over by a tank. The two don't match up. You know, the two do not match up. But it's just like I said, man, it's our generation has gone through. Yeah, I'll call it what it is, a failed coup, a recession, 2 recessions, a pandemic, 2 pandemics, almost 2 pandemics, Ebola coming through, 2 pandemics. Thank you. 9/11.
Yeah.
At least for me, 2 wars. I'm not even 40. Right. I'm not even 40. Hey, hold on. Hey, it's beside the fridge. Open that drawer at the bottom. There you go. It's the last trash can. It's recycling. Sorry about that. I recycle. Recycle this house. But like, we've been through some shit.
Yeah.
We've been through
lying.
Man. So.
You ain't lying.
But we are strong. We are strong, and we will continue to be strong. I just, it's just one of them things where I just hope at the end of the day, man, I was like, man, I hope we figure this out.
Right.
Like, I really, really hope just figure it out. You know, I am proud of who I am. I'm proud to be Black. You know, I'm proud I'm still, I mean, believe it or not, through all our nonsense, like, I'm still proud to be an American citizen. Like, you know, I will defend my country. Like, even though sometimes my country don't want to defend me. Like, this is where I'm from. This is who I am. This is, you know, whatever. But, you know, I still want us to, like, just, it takes zero effort to, like, not be a piece of shit. It takes zero effort not to be a piece of shit.
Oh my goodness.
It just does it, man. It takes zero effort to just, like, have, you know, empathy for somebody. I'm not saying everyone has to understand what I'm going through, man, but just
don't be a dumbass.
Don't be a dumbass. You know? So,
hey, O'Shea, I wanted to admit, like, you want to know what's funny? Like, what I saw from this past couple of days, like, I've seen it through countless points and period over the past couple of years. Like, whenever we as a people always go through these, like, very, like, traumatic or, like, you know, just these down points, I always see Black people, like, always finding, like, some type of, like, it's always like some joke that's actually funny, or like,
man, it's all we do. Because if we don't laugh, we're just gonna start crying.
I'm telling you, like, O'Shea, I cannot tell you how many, like, even though people, like, even like you just said, we were upset at the fact that they got away with it, but, like, just seeing so many people make jokes about it, and, like, all these, like, it was just hilarious, man. Like, just to see how,
the one meme was, it was like how Black people look when people realize that blue lives really didn't matter, and people like, and I just lost it. I was like they had people on cameras. Oh man, fuck the police. I was like, hold on a second, man.
Right.
First of all, NWA came up with that. That's a great song. You ain't about to take that from us. Like, we've been saying that from the get-go. We've been saying that for 40-something years. Hold on a second, man. No. So I mean, it's like we come up with these jokes because, like, we have to. Like I said, because if we don't laugh, we're just gonna start crying. We make these jokes because that's how we cope.
Right.
That's how we cope, man. We make jokes because within every, it's true in comedy. Within every joke, there's always a sliver of truth.
Just a bit of seriousness, and I'm telling you, it's always
a sliver of truth in the joke. And so it was sad to see what happened this week, but a part of me was just like, y'all didn't see that coming?
Right.
Like, this is news to you? Brother, we've been on this one for a minute. We knew this one. He told us what he was going to do. Like, why y'all shocked? Why weren't y'all prepared? But once again, no, those are questions for people who make a lot more money than me have to answer to. But please believe, because I am I'm very current on events, I will be sitting there the entire time watching, because I gotta hear what he's about to say about this.
Oh my goodness, man! It's been quite the couple years, man. But, like, it's and I think just over these next 2 weeks, I don't think it's going, you know, ain't gonna get no pretty over these next 2 weeks.
And someone said, "Hey man, I hope you guys canceled your 7 day trial of 2021 before they hit you with that draft fee." And I'm like, brother, they already got you. Nah, man, come February 1st, you're gonna see your card hit again. Nah, bro, you don't get that free trial. That's how they get you.
The last one on this, like, it was this one meme I saw. It was one of the people that was out there trashing the building, and they, like, the dude, like, ain't have no type of bottom teeth, and he had, like, somebody was like, he had 2 fangs coming out his mouth, and they just making all these type of jokes. Like, it was hilarious, just to, like, you know, just to, like, because it always seemed like throughout all these situations,
it's a small percentage. It's a small percentage of people.
Right.
The funny thing was, like, one guy actually had his work ID around his neck, and people were like, "This man wore his work ID. Like, he came right off of work and just stormed, like, no one's gonna come find him."
But that you want to know what's crazy about that? The privilege that you have to not even to think, like, okay, I'm gonna wear my work ID and I'm gonna still do this. Like, and even I don't know if you saw the dude who, like, literally he went and agreed to do a national TV interview and explained how they broke into the Capitol and like, and I was just saying, like, the privilege that you gotta have to feel comfortable doing a
Do
national
it.
TV interview and feel comfortable with
Be-
explaining how you got in.
and the reason why he felt so comfortable was because he's like, oh, they ain't gonna do nothing to me. Somebody else come save me. Mm-mm. I told somebody before, I was like, Washington D.C. as of right now isn't a state.
Mm.
So do you know who the Capitol Police? He's like, do you know who that jurisdiction's under? The Department of Justice. I'm like, do you understand the budget of the Department of Justice is like $750 million. I'm probably undershooting that.
Mm.
I was like, my county can catch me speeding down the highway with a camera, and a week later, I get a ticket in the mail. You think the DOJ ain't gonna come find you? Do you know who's DOJ? That's the FBI. Like, they don't care. They're gonna find you. You know, it's a lot of it is just, to me, it's just funny.
It
It's
is.
just funny because the part was like, guys, they let you guys walk out. Cool. Did you think that was it? Did you think they were just gonna just let you go and there wasn't, oh man, that's Hank, he's fine? Nah, brother, they were gonna come get you. It may not have been today, it may not have been tomorrow, but do you know who's looking for you? The FBI. And you live in the same country. They got offices everywhere.
Right.
They can get you right now. But hey, man, what do I know?
Right.
What do I know? I've been here for a little while. Whatever. I don't know nothing.
Kind of transition off that, man, and going back into the wrestling. Like,
Yes.
I
Yes. We'll be here all night. Yes. Edit that out.
one of the great things that I really enjoyed, man, especially from your social media specifically, was the seat at the table promos. These, I'm telling you, like, I'm not just saying this because we're on the call right now. These were fantastic. I think I commented on one of them and told you, like, this is great. Like, I genuinely think that you should be proud of those. Like, those are like very creative. And like, the thing I like the most about it is, like, I feel like in that setting, most people would have felt like, I gotta yell at the top of my lungs to make people feel that I'm impactful. Like, you was like very calm and collected and just like, and I felt like they made it more threatening in the character sense. Like, hey, basically you can get the hell up off my table and, like, leave it at that. And I saw guys like, I saw FTR commented on it. I saw a bunch of other wrestlers comment on it, and just, bunch of praise, man. Well deserved in that.
You.
Like, just tell me, like, how that kind of came to be, and like how that idea kind of formulated. And then, like, once you started seeing the ball rolling, where you like, all right,
I think I bet you on the something. A lot of it was just me just really kind of sitting down and just kind of just like letting my mind go. And I wanted to do something different that wasn't just me sitting behind sitting in front of a camera and just talking. I need to give you something more. And so for me, I understand that wrestling has been, like, the curtain's been pulled back a little bit so people kind of understand what wrestling is. So for me, it was like, okay, you've seen what I do in the ring. Very well versed. You just look it up, just Google it. You can see what I do in the ring. But what about when I'm not in it? Twitter and Instagram, I put me working out. Cool, but I'm not working out all the time. So what is it that I'm doing that I would want people to see? And what's the one thing that everybody does? Everybody's got to eat. Everybody's got to sleep. Everybody's got to eat. Well, nobody wants to watch me sleep. So eating just seemed to be the most logical thing to do. And for me, it easily translated into something more, because, like, our parents worked very hard to put food on the table for us to eat. And the one thing you didn't do to mom and dad, you didn't disrespect them, especially when they putting food in front of you. Why would you do that? Because you talk back to mom, like, what's for dinner? Meatloaf? Meatloaf, Scott want that shit. First of all, your mom's gonna kick your ass, and then you weren't gonna eat. Why? Because you had to run your mouth. Because, like, all right, then you do it. And I want to bring that feeling of the only reason why you're here is because I'm allowing it. But let's not get it twisted. I'm here for a reason. The house I have, the cars I buy, you know what I'm saying, clothes on my feet, the Jordans I wear. Like, you know, I just didn't trip and fall to a pair of Jordans. No, I had to bust somebody up to get these, because if I didn't do it, somebody else would.
Right.
So that really started, like, it all started with like the Hood Foot promo, and it really started to come into its own thing.
Mm.
And it really started to become something different, where now it's no longer me just, it's not, it went from me just eating to now it's always come at my lore of, okay, what type of meal is he going to prepare today?
Right.
What type of suit is he going to wear today? What is he eating? Where is he going to eat it at? Is it just at the table or is it in the kitchen? You know, and so stuff like that, like, just there's these levels of like nuance now that I get to add that I never really thought about I'd ever get that opportunity to do before. And it's so much fun, you know. Somebody told me before, like, hey man, I did a promo where I didn't eat. And someone goes, never again do I need to see a promo with you without something in your mouth. You'd be eating every single time. And then the whole thing about some people just felt like they needed to scream. I had a very influential worker, not gonna name drop. I think I did a promo in front of him, and he goes, why are you yelling? He goes, as big as you are, why are you yelling? He goes, you are massive. When you speak, you should never get above a conversational level. He goes, because when you talk, you expect people to listen to you. It's like, just like I'm talking to you right now, you are listening to me right now. Because I'm not yelling at you. I'm expect to be heard. He goes, and I never want to hear you yell ever again. And I remember looking at him going, yes, sir. And and that was 2 years ago. I've never yelled. I raised my voice, you know?
Right.
But it's like, I've never yelled. And so he's like, you have this Marcellus Wallace vibe about you when you walk into a room, where it's not so much the fact that you belong in the room, you own this is your room. I'm just allowing you all to be in it. That's the vibe you need to have from here on out. I can do that. And ever since then, like, I always keep that voice in the back of my head of like, no man, this is as high as I'm gonna get. I'm proving my point right now because I don't have to yell, because you're gonna listen to me. I did a bunch of I love when I can watch movies where people break the fourth wall. And I'm a strong believer in using the camera as its own, not only point of view, but making the camera its own character. And almost like a becoming John Malkovich type deal. I'm a theater kid, man. I love movies. I'm filmophobe. Where you're not, it's not so much of where you're interacting with it, you're just along for the ride. You're along for the ride. That way, every so often, when I do acknowledge that the viewers I know the viewers there, now it becomes a whole different monster. You know, it's not, I don't want to be known as someone who just, he does a good promo. I want to be known as guys who I do great promos. I want to be known as the guy who changed the game in terms of how independent wrestlers do promos. I want to be the guy who, like, when it comes down to, like, I want to become the benchmark where I can do a promo and literally do it by myself in my own home, in my own time, and then look at the rest of the world and go, all right, now beat that. What you got? Like, go for it. Like, here's the bar. Beat it. Because when every so often you find that guy who can beat it, I'm like, game on. Because now all of a sudden, now I have to step my game up and all that good stuff. Like I said, Mo Atlas did it first. And when I saw his promo, I just smiled. And I was like, game on. Here we go. If I knew that after that it would have turned into his own little thing, I would have called you a liar. Just and I was like, you're a liar. You're an absolute liar. But I'm proud of it. I'm really, really proud of it. I want to do more of them. God willing, I want to do more of them, and I will. It's just now, you know, like Avengers, you don't give them one every single year.
Yeah.
You gotta let them wait for it a little bit, and that way, when it hits, it hits.
No, I'm telling you right now, those are cool as hell. I'm telling you, I'm becoming like one of those people. Like, even though like I'm in the wrestling media, I still like to give people their flowers, man, and let people know when they're doing some really great stuff. Like,
I
and those
appreciate it, man. Thank
those
you.
promos are, I'm telling you, those are great,
Thank
and
you.
you should be very proud of those. But
Thank
like,
you.
man, gotta get into the nitty gritty, man. I know that you were in the ROH bubble, okay, right, and I know that you got recruited by Shane Taylor Promotions. So, but before we get into, you know, before we get into the questions, right? I just want, well, of course, all of them the question, but I just wanted to ask, what was your experience like in the Ring of Honor bubble, and how did the opportunity with Shane Taylor Promotions come about?
Man, the one thing I tell people all the time is people like to like crap on Ring of Honor for a while because it was the cool thing to do. ROH was never. Let me put it. ROH was never the joke. Was never the butt of the joke. It never will be the butt of the joke. And it's proving it week after week with like the Pure Title tournament, with the way it's been handling its COVID protocols, with the way that it has been handling just everything in general. You know, this is one of those things of where like it's never been the butt of the joke. It never will be. People just do it because it's the cool thing to do. But with that being said, being in the bubble was dope, dog. Yo, it was so dope, man. Yo, let me tell you, man. They put me in like a hotel. I was like, all right, well, just stay here. We'll come and get you. I brought some food, brought my Xbox, and I was chilling, man. I
You
could
straight, yeah, it was good.
Oh, dude, great. Can't wait to do it again. But getting in. Well, actually, it was Shane who got in contact with me. And me wanting to work with Ring of Honor was literally because of guys like Shane, Kenny, Jay Lethal, and now guys like Jonathan Gresham.
Right.
So, you know, getting the fact that Shane even knew my name, like, blew my mind, because I work with my head down like a lot, like I just grind, and then that's what somebody's like, hey, get your flowers. Huh? What? We're giving out flowers. I got work to do. You know, put them over there. I got work. So he approached me about what he wanted to do. He approached me about what he wanted to achieve. And this isn't so much just a Ring of Honor thing. This was just this is something that he wanted to put together, and this is something that he wanted to expand farther than just.
So I just wanted to add in real quick, and I was gonna let you finish, but like it's kind of funny because people think that Shane Taylor Promotions is like this Ring of Honor like thing. Dog, nope. This is like a legit.
This is a brand. This is a brand.
But people think this is like some like Ring of Honor storyline. I'm like,
no, like just like Nike just don't do basketball. Under Armour just doesn't do football. No, it goes. And you know, he was like, hey man, this isn't, because I don't want you to think this is anything where like, you know, where you gonna get signed Ring of Honor. He goes, no, but I see what you've been doing. And I believe what you've been doing and what you're trying to accomplish lines up to what with Shane Taylor Promotions is all about. And if you want, you know, I do anything you don't want to do, but if you want opportunities on the table for you to be a part of it, I said yes, like hands down.
Oh, you need an opportunity.
That was it. I needed an opportunity. So it was just one of those things where, you know, Ring of Honor or not, I get to, you know, hitch my wagon to Shane Taylor. Yeah, man, are you mental? Yeah, dog. Like, yeah, I didn't even let him finish. I was like, yes. Because like guys like him are the reason why like I want to wrestle. You know, and getting it, and like lately, just like I said, getting a chance to talk to him one-on-one, talk to Gresham one-on-one, talk to Lethal one-on-one, Kenny King one-on-one, you know, and it's not so much as oh, you're just a new guy around here. No, it's a man to man. It goes a long way. It makes you feel real validated. It makes you feel
it lets you like did that kind of like not necessarily change your approach to wrestling, but like it always makes, like when you get like those opportunities like that come about, it makes you think like, damn, you know, somebody's always watching. Somebody like you.
It made me appreciate it a lot more. Hey man, you got this far. congratulations. Now the work begins. Now we're just getting, okay, cool. That was the prologue. Now this is chapter 1. Wait, what? This was the prologue? Huh? But I've never shied away from a challenge. I've never backed down from never backed down from a fight. You know, I tell people, like, I don't start fights, but I make sure I finish them. So this is just one of those things of where, like, I'm excited to see where Shane Taylor Production goes, because it has the framework and has the foundation to go a very, very, very long way. And I want to make sure that, like, if anything, I'm a part of that on the release of the ground.
And you mentioned, you know, him bringing up the fact that there's no guarantee that, you know, you may end up signing to Ring of Honor. But like, for those of you who are watching who don't know, O'Shea has been a part of the Ring of Honor dojo system for a while now. And like, has there ever been like any type of conversation thus far, or maybe any interest from either side as far as like, you know, maybe, you know, we can get the ball rolling or the train moving as far as O'Shea becoming a part of the ROH roster? I remember I even after the For the Culture show, I had tweeted and I was like, man, I think ROH need to go ahead and sign O'Shea before somebody snatch him up. I was like, cause I mean, like, there's so many talented people out there, man, but like I feel like there are a select few. Maybe it's like a select group of 30 or 20 that maybe like really stand out amongst the crowd as far as independent wrestling.
You're gonna hate this answer. You're gonna hate this answer, but I can neither confirm nor deny that.
Okay, no, I respect. I respect.
You're gonna hate that answer, man, but that's the best answer I can give. I can neither confirm nor deny that.
Okay, no, I respect that. You gotta keep that. Matter of fact, I wouldn't even expect you to tell me something like that. Like I feel like that would be something that should be formally announced if it is true. But you know what?
Right. If it is true, like I said, I can neither confirm nor deny.
But I am hoping it is, and I'm gonna just throw that out there so I can, you know, I'll be covering your matches and stuff on the site and all that good stuff. But like one of the cooler things that also happened to you in 2020, you being a video game virtual basement. Read that, man. Like just tell me like how that opportunity came about, and like how excited are you to see yourself in virtual form, man?
So it was the same way, man. They came to me about it, and it's like, hey, man, we've seen that you're doing some really big things in the ring, out of the ring. Your social media is this, that, and the other. Man, we really love it if we can have the opportunity to put this in a video game. I'm a big video game kid. I grew up on it, man. I'm about to age myself here. I was like, but that's like the regular 8-bit Nintendo playing Duck Hunt Mario. You know what I'm saying? So it's whatever. And I loved it. I stayed up late. We had to take one cartridge, put in another just to keep it down so it worked. But they approached me. At first I was like, no, get out of here. I was like, no, man, this is what we want to do. This is what we already have planned out. This is kind of a slow grind, but this is what we want to do. I was like, cool. So yeah, I signed on, gave them the photos that they needed, whatever. It was really weird in a good way to see myself
as virtual, right.
Right. And it was one of those where it was spot on. And I was like, yo, this is what I look like? That's amazing. So, you know, they've been a little tight-lipped about like how things are coming along and this, that, and the other. I think they're still working on game sprites, which is fine. I mean, I'm not building it, so it's like whatever. And, you know, people get impatient just because people get impatient.
They want it now.
Yeah, they want it now. But at the same time, you know, when it comes, it comes. And I'm excited about it. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, I'll probably be the first one to, you know, get on it. They even said it was going to be for next gen consoles. So I knew at the time I had a while. I had a while to get stuff done. So, but no, I'm excited about it. It's going to be fun. You know, when I have a kid of my own, I'm like, hey, your dad was in a video game.
Video game, right?
I'll be immortalized. Like, what about that?
No, I think that's cool as hell, man. Like, and then the fact that, like, especially like them, specifically on them bed.
Hold on 1 second. Hey, when you go outside, I see it. I'm surprised you didn't hear it. Yeah. Oh, it's loud. In all the great ways, it's loud. Yeah. Sorry, I bought a new car today. So I'm super excited about that.
No, congratulations on that, man. Congratulations.
Yeah.
But like, I was going to ask you, like, so it's like specifically them like being on, like them being like tight-lipped about it, because I have heard that they've been kind of secretive per se about, you know, the inner workings and how things are going. But I also can believe that maybe they had plans that were kind of scrapped before, you know, the pandemic kicked in, and like maybe they had some type of plans to do like mocap and people just you can't do that now until
Right. And I
everybody
was
gets
and I was approached for that to do mocap because some of my moves that some of the things I do, they have a bigger person do it. You can't
mm,
just grab any Joe
you,
Schmo on the street.
you need to do it.
So, right. So
Mhm.
a lot of it though, yeah, with the pandemic hitting the way it is, yeah, like of course, like that's rough. Like that's
Mhm.
really hard to pull off. But at the same time, you know, it's business.
Right.
Wrestling's weird. People move on. People, sign different contracts where now also they can't be in the game anymore. So great, all that work now has to be is gone. So it's just one of those things of where like it's just, you kind of take it or leave it. It
Mm.
comes out when it comes out. I tell people, when's the game coming out? It comes out when it comes out. First of all, I don't know. So if you know more than me, you know more than me. But I'm finding out as you are as well. But it's just one of the things where like it's still cool to see it. Like my name pops up on Google with it all the time. I'm like, Sprite. But when it comes out, yeah, I'll probably buy 2 copies, one to sign, like put on a wall, or
Yeah,
like all my other stuff on a wall, or and then a copy to play.
there you go. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. O'Shea, man. Well, first of all, before we sign off, man, everybody, please go check out. If you haven't seen these seat at the table promos, go do yourself a favor. I'm telling you, like these are like really good. I'm telling you, like I'm not even just gassing it. These are like really good. Go check out the man O'Shea. It was O'Shea. Any merchandise you got, social media, plug it
Yeah,
all.
yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
make sure I put it in the description of the video.
For sure, sure. So merch is going to be whatamaneuver.net. And you search O'Shea Edwards. There's a lot of stuff that I got on there. There's going to be some stuff on there coming out this year too that I'm not going to actually have on tables. So a lot of that stuff's going to be like online exclusives. Social media wise, you can find me on Twitter at Big Bag Kaiju, at pretty much at Big Bag Kaiju, and then on Instagram, same thing. Big Bag Kaiju on Instagram as well. Trust me, when you see the profile picture, you know it's me.
It is, ladies and gentlemen, from the man himself, O'Shea Ellis. O'Shea, I want to thank you for your time, man. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Andrew Thompson of the Andrew Thompson Interviews YouTube channel, signing off with the Big Bad Kaiju, O'Shea Edwards, and we are out. Peace.